Have you ever heard of a president so misunderstood that his name became synonymous with failure? Today, we're diving deep into the life of Herbert Hoover, the 31st President of the United States, and uncovering a story far more complex than you might think. Born in a tiny cottage in Iowa in 1874, Hoover's early life was marked by tragedy. Orphaned by the age of 9, he was sent to live with relatives in Oregon. But this hardship forged an incredible self-reliance. He put himself through the brand-new Stanford University, studying geology, and graduated with the inaugural class of 1895. His brilliance and work ethic were undeniable. Hoover wasn't a politician by trade. He was a world-class mining engineer. He traveled the globe, from Australia to China, discovering mines and making a massive fortune. He became a self-made millionaire before he was 40, a true testament to his skill and ambition. But his greatest work was yet to come. When World War I broke out, Hoover switched from making money to saving lives. He organized a massive effort to get 120,000 stranded American tourists out of Europe. Then he took on an even bigger challenge: feeding the entire nation of Belgium, which was trapped behind German lines. As head of the Commission for Relief in Belgium, he pioneered large-scale humanitarian aid, navigating blockades and political minefields to prevent mass starvation. His efforts earned him the nickname the Great Humanitarian. After the war, he directed food aid across Europe, saving millions more from famine. His reputation was golden. He served as a highly effective Secretary of Commerce under Presidents Harding and Coolidge, modernizing the department and promoting economic growth. So when he ran for president in 1928, he won in a landslide. People saw him as a can-do genius who could solve any problem. He entered the White House with soaring expectations, promising a chicken in every pot and a car in every garage. Then, just 7 months into his presidency, the stock market crashed in October 1929, heralding the start of the Great Depression. This global economic catastrophe would define his presidency and, unfairly, his entire legacy. Hoover wasn't inactive. Contrary to popular belief, he didn't just sit back and do nothing. He took unprecedented action for his time, urging businesses not to cut wages and increasing federal public works projects like the famous Hoover Dam. He created the Reconstruction Finance Corporation to loan money to banks and businesses to prevent them from failing. However, Hoover was a firm believer in rugged individualism and a balanced budget. He was deeply hesitant to provide direct federal welfare payments to individuals, believing it would create dependency and damage the American character. He thought local governments and private charities should handle relief, but the scale of the crisis was simply too massive for them to handle. His public response often came across as cold and detached, and his optimism seemed out of touch with the suffering of millions. Shantytowns built by the homeless were cruelly nicknamed Hoovervilles. In 1932, Hoover was defeated in a landslide by Franklin D. Roosevelt, who promised a New Deal. For decades, Hoover was blamed for the Depression. However, modern historians see him in a more nuanced light. They recognize that the causes of the Depression were complex and global, and that Hoover's actions, while insufficient, laid the groundwork for some of FDR's later programs. After leaving the White House, Hoover became a vocal critic of the New Deal, but continued his public service. After World War II, President Truman asked him to once again organize food relief for a starving world. He also led the Hoover Commission, which recommended major reforms to make the federal government more efficient. He lived a long life, passing away in 1964 at the age of 90, having written dozens of books and dedicated his life to service. So, Herbert Hoover's story is one of incredible triumph, heartbreaking tragedy, and complex legacy. He was a brilliant administrator and a great humanitarian whose presidency was shattered by an economic disaster beyond any one person's control. It's a powerful reminder that history is rarely as simple as we're taught. What do you think? Does Herbert Hoover deserve his reputation? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more complex stories from history. See you next time.